At the beginning of Pokémon Diamond and Pearl, even before entering our room, we see a news segment on Jubilo TV covering the hunt for the red Gyarados. This isn't just a casual detail, it's current news because the events in Johto and Sinnoh are happening roughly at the same time. This raises an interesting question: where do all the other Pokémon games fit on the timeline? And more importantly, does it even make sense to talk about a coherent timeline for the main series? The connection between Kanto and Johto is perhaps the clearest, even in terms of time. In the second generation games, we're repeatedly reminded that 3 years have passed since Red's journey. The Team Rocket reminds us while trying to bring Giovanni back, and Sabrina mentions having foreseen Gold's arrival at her gym. So there's little room for interpretation. Gold and Silver function almost as direct sequels. Kanto appears changed, though not completely transformed. Some of the Elite Four members have retired. The Fuchsia Safari Zone has closed, and a new one has opened in Johto. A volcanic eruption even destroyed an island, forcing the survivors to live in an improvised Pokémon Center. While these events unfold, the events in Sinnoh are happening in parallel. The tone differs. On one side, petty criminals exploiting Pokémon for profit. On the other, an organization attempting to reshape the universe. But the simultaneity remains a key element. When Diamond, Pearl, and later Platinum were released, Game Freak already knew that the Johto remakes were coming. It's plausible then that the decision to place the second and fourth generations in the same time frame was deliberate to maintain internal consistency. This pattern had been seen before. With Ruby and Sapphire, Game Freak set the third generation at the same time as the first generation. This strategy facilitated the later release of Fire and Leaf Green and allowed shared events, like areas accessible in both Kanto and Hoenn games. It's true, the third generation games don't include direct references to Johto. However, an official confirmation came years later from Shinobu Matsumi, a longtime Game Freak writer. In 2014, Matsumi tweeted a complete Pokémon timeline, which was quickly taken down. From that tweet, it was clear that first and third generations occur simultaneously. Second and fourth generations share the same period. X and Y take place later, but no exact dates are given. Moving on to the fifth generation, Black and White represent a sort of reboot of the series. However, Black 2 and White 2 do something surprisingly similar to what Gold and Silver did. They depict a region that has changed after 2 years. The gyms are different, Team Plasma has reorganized, and the world reflects the passage of time. Scattered clues in the games suggest that Black and White are set after the events of Johto and Sinnoh, even if we don't know exactly how much time has passed. Characters like Catlina, visibly older than in previous appearances, or former Team Rocket members reintegrated into society, reinforce this idea. With the sixth generation, things get more complicated. X and Y are indicated as concurrent with Black 2 and White 2, but Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire introduce a completely new concept: alternative dimensions. Mega evolutions radically disrupt the timeline's consistency, making it necessary to consider multiple timelines. From this point on, we can distinguish a classic timeline and a mega timeline. The Alola games clearly fall into the latter, as do events related to Ultra Wormholes and the multiverse. At this stage, even Game Freak seems to distance itself from a rigid chronology. In a 2019 interview, Junichi Masuda explained that Pokémon is not designed to follow a precise timeline, but rather to expand its world spatially, creating new regions rather than a strict temporal continuity. A reasonable choice, given the complexity involved, but for many, also a huge missed opportunity.